Hello everyone, myself Kanika Malik, Assistant Professor CSE Department from AKGIC, AKG. Today my topic for continuation is of data analytics, that is neural networks, learning and generalization. In the previous video, I have told you about the basics of data analytics, what is predictive analysis, what is prescriptive analysis and all this. Now today we will be covering about neural networks, learning and generalization. This is neural networks. Now, what do you mean by neural networks? Neural networks, as the name is depicting, are the artificial systems that were inspired by biological neural network. These systems learn to perform tasks by being exposed to various data sets and examples. Now, as you all know that in our brain, in the brain of human being, we are having some neurons. Neurons are the basic receptors that work in response of the messages. Whatever stimuli I am having or whatever data I am just transmitting to my brain, they are just connected via neurons. So this term is a very prominent term of AI or AI machine learning also, and it is the basic application to sort out various things. For example, here it is written, neural networks are based either on the study of brain or on the application of neural networks. Means, as the name is depicting, neural networks does the same function as the neurons do in our brain. Neural networks mimic the basic function of human brain and inspired by how the human brain interprets information. These neural networks are used to perform various real-time activities in AI-based and machine learning processes. Then moving forward, this is the architecture of a neural network. As you can all see, there is a small circle here, which is the depiction of a activation function. The labeling is a single neuron shown with xi inputs with their respective weights wi and a bias term and applied activation function. So here we can say that if I am having so many neurons in my so many variable in my system shown by x1, x2, x3 up to xn, and we are representing it via different weights w1, w2, w3, and simplifying it into an activation function, we are getting the problem in the form of this formula. That means I can formulate my problem statement via this formula. This is what? This is an activation function, summation of wi xi plus bias. So what we are doing? Bias is any additional feature. So what we are doing? We are simply collecting all the variables which we are showing by x1, x2, x3 along with some weighted inputs, and then we are putting it into a sigma, that means an activation function. Now, what are the uses of neural network? As you all know that neurons means something very sensitive thing. Okay, so neural network are used at the places where we want some real-time outputs, identifying the objects, faces, and understanding spoken language in applications like self-driving cars and voice assistants. As we all know that nowadays, various automatic applications of machine learning are into the market, like self-driving cars. Okay, Google has launched its self-driving car, Tesla, long time ago. But now, in India also, various applications of AI are being prominent. So what we can say? We can say that neural network is one of the application of that only. If we want to identify any object, any face, or if we talk about the application of NLP, that is natural language processing, in that also we use neural networks. Then what is the next use? Analyzing and understanding human language, enabling sentiment analysis, chatbots, language translation, and text generation. So if I talk about language-based applications, or I talk about sentiment analysis, in that also we can use neural networks. Diagnosing diseases. So, more prominent use nowadays of neural networks are in the medical area, in the medical field, where we are diagnosing various diseases. For example, like in cancer detection also, the patient is first told to get a MRI scan or CT scan, and the doctor used to analyze the nodules or whatever thing they are just visible. The cyst is visible in the form of nodules. So all this high level analysis and scientific research takes place with the help of neural networks. So these are the application areas. You can just get a note down of these neural networks application. Moving further toward types of neural network, there are various types or various layers of neural network which we can classify into 3 or 4 parts: ANN, CNN, and RNN. As the name is depicting of first one, artificial neural network, ANN. ANN is a feed forward neural network because there the inputs are sent in forward direction. It can also contain hidden layers which make the model even denser. So if I talk about this, ANN. ANN means it is a feed forward neural network where the inputs are sent in the forward direction and it contains some hidden layers. Then second one is CNN. CNN is mainly used for the image data. If we talk about medical images, scanning of medical images, okay, and doing the research on the different types of image type data, or we can say to the graphical data, for that we can use CNN. CNN, you can say it is used in computer vision. For computer vision application, we use CNN. See, all these 3 types of neural network follow the same type of architecture in which we are having some layer type. But CNN is the most commonly used network. Then third one is RNN. RNN is also known as recurrent neural networks. So if I talk about some real-time data or the applications in which we need the real-time data, for example, if I talk about launching of rocket missile or weather forecasting data or some other data that need real-time operating system, for that we can use recurrent neural networks. Recurrent means time related, or that is occurring again and again. So RNN is also known as recurrent neural network and it is used to process and interpret time series data. Okay, so as I talk about this, another application, another logic of this, then if I talk about this, moving further towards the topic, another interrelated term to this is generalization or competitive learning. First of all, in machine learning, as you all know, there are 3 types of learning, so need not to elaborate these things. Moving forward toward another interrelated term is competitive learning. What do you mean by competitive learning? As we all know that we have supervised, unsupervised and semi-supervised type of data and machine learning algorithms. So competitive learning is a subset of machine learning that comes under the category of unsupervised learning. So if I talk about neural networks use the concept of competitive learning. Or competitive learning hota kya hai basically? It is used to classify the input without the use of labeled data. Okay, as it is an unsupervised learning technique, so here what we will see, we will just utilize competitive learning model, जो कि क्या होता है कि हम जो भी अपना input data है उसको बिना किसी label data के usage के classify करते हैं. And this competitive learning is also known as winner takes all strategy. For example, if I say that 4 persons are running a relay race and the final candidate have the baton in his or her hand, so finally the winner of the relay race would depend on the frequency of running of the last candidate or the last participant. So winner takes all means whatever the label data particular neuron is having or a model is having, we will just remove that, we will just take on the onus to that particular thing. Over time, neurons become specialized as they get updated toward input vectors they can best match. For example, we can say that as we know that neural network comprises of different types of layers. So various input layers are there. In between, some hidden layer is there, and then output layer is there. So if I talk about the values, so neurons will become specialized as they get updated. As they will move towards one layer to another layer, so they will get updated. Okay, so this is about competitive learning. Moving forward toward another thing is generalization. As analogous to the competitive learning, we have another topic, generalization. Now, what do you mean by generalization? Generalization is something different from competitive learning. As in competitive learning, we don't have any labeled data or something. In generalization, it is the checking of ability of a model after being trained to digest new data. अगर हम अपने मॉडल को किसी नए टाइप के डेटा के साथ इनपुट करते हैं या फीड करते हैं और उससे हमें कुछ एक्यूरेट प्रेडिक्शन मिल रहे हैं किसी मशीन के लिए या प्रोसेस के लिए, दैट बिकम्स जनरलाइजेशन. सो द एबिलिटी ऑफ एनी मॉडल टू जनरलाइज टू पर्टिकुलर इनपुट वैल्यूज लीड्स टू द सक्सेस ऑफ एन एआई प्रोजेक्ट. अगर मेरा कोई भी एआई प्रोजेक्ट है और वो पर्टिकुलर इनपुट वैल्यूज पे मुझे आउटपुट नहीं दे रहा है, दैट मीन्स वो जनरलाइज नहीं हो रहा है, वो मॉडल हमारा जनरलाइज नहीं हो रहा है. Then moving further, there are some interrelated terms like overfitting and underfitting. This we will elaborate in the slide when we will explain the complexity of any algorithm. Okay, moving toward PCA. Now PCA is a very important topic that frequently comes into exam along with its numerical example. Now what do you mean by PCA? As the name is depicting principal component analysis, it is a dimensionality reduction method of data analytics in which we are reducing the dimensionality of a data set. That means if we have so many input values in my data set, so I will just reduce the dimension of that data set and I will transform my input values or input data set into a smaller data set, and it will contain most of the information. Like if we are converting also, then no data is lost. That means the integrity of the data is not lost. अगर हम अपने data को smaller data में reduce कर रहे हैं, तब भी उसकी integrity यानी कि कोई important information lose नहीं होगी, सिर्फ वो lose हो जाएगा, हमारा dimension reduce हो जाएगा. So this is the key concept of PCA, and frequently the numerical of PCA also comes in exam, so you need not to prepare it thoroughly, the theory part, algorithm part, as well as the numerical part. Then moving, this is the stepwise implementation of PCA. PCA is an interrelated technique of statistics. That means wherever we are using the statistical technique in our machine learning or data analytic process, there we can use PCA. So as the value is depicting, what is the value? We are taking a variable as a small z. Small z is equal to value minus mean upon standard deviation. So as you all must have studied in statistics, in set theory, that we have some factors, or we have some terms like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, that helps us to generalize our data, that helps us to find out the average value, sometimes the frequency value, and so on. So PCA, in the first step of PCA, we are using standardization. That means we are using standardization and we are taking it in the form of, first step is standardization. What we are doing in standardization, we are just evaluating the mean value and standard variation value, and then we, in the step 2, we will find the covariance matrix. Covariance matrix you all must have studied in maths 2 or math first, where we just compute the values of the variance of two different variables. Then in step 3, we compute the eigenvector and eigenvalues of the covariance matrix to identify its principal components. PCA has the various applications like in computer vision, image compression. As I already told you, that neural networks are also used in computer vision techniques. So as the PCA is the relevant corresponding term of neural networks, so it is mainly used as dimensionality reduction technique in AI applications. In various AI application like computer vision, image compression, we will use PCA. It can also be used for finding hidden patterns if data has high dimensionality. That means if we are having a high dimensional data in our input values, there we can use PCA. It can be used in financial area, data mining, and various other areas. Okay. Moving further toward the slide, another interrelated term which we use in our data analytic operations or machine learning operation is fuzzy logic. Now, can you tell me the meaning of fuzzy? So, fuzzy is something that is not clear, or it is not accurate, you can say. So, अभी तक हम लोगों ने Boolean logic के बारे में पढ़ा है, and Boolean logic simply means that I am confining my all the values to only two values, either 0 or 1. So, 0 means we are taking no value, means no आप input ले रहे हो या negative values ले रहे हो, तो उसके corresponding हम 0 output assign करते हैं. और 1 का मतलब है जब हम कोई भी value को मान रहे हैं कि वो एक high value है, ठीक है, या फिर कुछ भी आपका पॉजिटिव फीडबैक मुझे मिल रहा है, उसको मैंने 1 की कैटेगरी में पुट करा है. फजी लॉजिक कुछ डिफरेंट होता है. जब हम 0 और 1 की बात करते हैं तो वो हमारा बोलियन लॉजिक था. अब अगर मैं फजी लॉजिक की बात करती हूँ तो फजी लॉजिक मीन्स एप्लीकेशंस इन विच वी आर यूजिंग somewhere the different values between 0 and 1. For example, that means we can say that I am taking the value, somewhere between 0 and 1. For example, if I take the mid values 0.5, 0.75, right? So these values would come in the fuzzy logic कि हम अपने output को somewhere values provide कर सकते हैं 0 और 1 की. फॉर्म में, 0 और 1 के बीच की वैल्यूज में. And what are the application areas? Fuzzy logic is used in a wide range of applications such as control systems, image processing, natural language processing, medical diagnosis, and AI. Almost in all fields of AI nowadays, we are using fuzzy logic. So as the name is depicting fuzzy, fuzzy means something that is not fixed or somewhere in between. Okay. Moving forward toward Boolean logic and fuzzy logic, as I told you, in Boolean system, truth value 1 represents the absolute truth value and 0.0 represents the absolute false value. तो Boolean logic की अगर मैं बात करती हूँ तो 1 का मतलब होता है कि absolute truth value हम represent कर रहे हैं और 0 का मतलब होता है कि हम absolute false value. लेकिन fuzzy logic में exactly truth, absolute truth और absolute false जैसा कोई terminology नहीं होती. There we are taking somewhere the intermediate value which is partially true or partially false in machine learning system. So whatever output we are going to give, that we won't give in the form of 0 and 1, that we will give in the form of somewhere the values between 0 and 1. Moving forward, as you can see, this is the example. If I ask a question, if a problem statement is it cold outside today? So Boolean logic will give the output in the form of 2. Either yes, that will show the 1 value, either no, that will show the 0 value. But if same problem I will represent in fuzzy logic, तो वहां पे हमारा is it cold का क्या output हो जाएगा? We can give it in the form of various problem statements, or you can say various English vocab. Very much means 0.9, little cold 0.25, very less 0.1. So now there is a question that arises that what was the need of this fuzzy logic? Initially when I was assuming my data, it was only of 2 types, means the data was only saved in the form of tables, either in the form of row or column, and I was using the matrix representation for my calculation of algorithms. There we were taking 0 or 1, but when the big data concept arises and various algorithms of machine learning and these were used, at that time fuzzy logic came into the concept. That means we were in the need of some values जिनकी values कुछ 0 और 1 के बीच में लाई करे. तो fuzzy logic का simply meaning ये है कि 0 और 1 के concept को हटा करके बीच में हम कुछ values उसमें decimal values और you can say some inaccurate in partial values हम ले लें. ठीक है, impartial would be the correct term. So as you can see, the depiction of values are like this: very much, 0.9, little, 0.25, and so on. Now these are the characteristics from fuzzy logic. The algorithms or processes that follows fuzzy logic will have these characteristics. First one is this concept is flexible and we can easily understand and implement it. So if I talk about fuzzy logic का जो characteristic है वो ये है कि आपका ये बहुत flexible concept है. Why it is flexible? Because I am not restricting my customer to have the value of output only of 0 or 1. He or she can give the output in the form of somewhere in between 0 or 1. So this concept is flexible and we can easily understand and implement it. Then it is also used for helping us to minimize the logic created by human. That means we can put the value somewhere less than 1. So like this we are minimizing the logic of humans. Okay. It is the best method for finding the solution of those problems which are suitable for approximate or uncertain reasoning. So fuzzy logic can be assumed as the best solution for those problems where we need some uncertainty reasoning, as we are taking the decimal values also in the form of input. So we can take the concept of uncertain reasoning. So this is the fuzzy logic. It offers 2 values. This I have already told you, and also it follows the concept of non-linear values. Moving further towards some of the more characteristics, in fuzzy logic everything is a matter of degree, as we can say that we can take any partial value of 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. It need not to be confined within 0 and 1. तो fuzzy logic में कोई भी system जो logical होता है उसको आप fuzzify कर सकते हो. It is a matter of degree. It is basically based on the application areas of natural language processing, और इसको आप एक तरीके से क्वांटिटेटिव एनालिस्ट टेक्निक की तरह भी यूज कर सकते हो, क्योंकि हम अपनी एल्गो की एग्जीक्यूशन को आउटपुट को बेटर कर रहे हैं. तो इट इज यूज्ड बाय द क्वांटिटेटिव एनालिस्ट फॉर इम्प्रूविंग द एल्गोरिथम्स एफिशिएंसी. देन इट अलाउ यूजर्स टू इंटीग्रेट विद द programming. So this concept can be easily amalgamated with any of the programming language so that the accuracy of the algorithm can be achieved. अगर हम कहीं 0 और 1 के बीच में या कोई particular values के बीच में, see, because the output of the algorithm can vary and it depends upon the input values which we are providing it. So fuzzy logic allows us to have the flexibility of including any values within our programming algorithm. This is the architecture of fuzzy logic, which is very important. Here you can see there are two processes running in parallel in fuzzy logic. One is fuzzification, another one is defuzzification. Okay, so as you can see, a crisp input is coming into the fuzzification module where it is interacting with the inference engine. What does inference engine use? As you have studied in discrete structures, inference rule means जब हम अपनी किसी भी problem statement को inference rule के फॉर्म में फॉर्मुलेट कर सकते हैं या हम उससे कंडीशन स्पेसिफाई कर सकते हैं कि इफ टेम्परेचर इज 45 देन इट इज हॉट आउटसाइड, इफ टेम्परेचर इज बिलो 20 डिग्री देन इट इज कोल्ड वेदर. ओके, सो इन्फ्रेंस इंजन मीन्स इन्फ्रेंस रूल को लॉजिक के अकॉर्डिंग डिराइव पुट करना, फॉर्मुलेट करना. तो यहाँ से आप देख सकते हैं दिस इज अ रूल बेस विच विल हैव द कलेक्शन ऑफ सम रूल्स. These rules are going into the inference engine. Inference engine is helping to give us the fuzzy output and finally it is going into defuzzification module. That means parallel में अगर हम देखें तो दो processes यहाँ पर मेरे execute हो रहे हैं. एक है fuzzification और दूसरा है defuzzification. And the fuzzy logic is in touch with inference engine and rule base. That what it is telling कि आपका rule base क्या है और inference engine आपका क्या है, किस तरीके से आपका output follow कर रहे हैं. Now, what is rule based? As I told you that it is a collection of some rules, some set of rules, and again they are saying it is used for storing the set of rules and if then condition given by the experts used for control the decision making systems. कि हम अपने decision making systems को if then statements की form में formulate कर सकते हैं, तो उसको हम यूज करते हैं. मोर ओवर इट इज सेइंग कि बहुत सारे अपडेट्स हैं जो आजकल फजी थियरी में आ रहे हैं, जो हमारा एक फजी सिस्टम को या फजी कंट्रोलर्स को डिजाइन करने के लिए एक बेटर मेथड प्रूव हो रहा है. सो एज यू कैन सी, अभी तक आपने सिर्फ बूलियन लॉजिक पढ़ा था, बट नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट फजी लॉजिक विच इज एन एफिशिएंट वे ऑफ पुटिंग आवर इनपुट वैल्यूज टू द एक्यूरेट system, right? We can put it into the accurate system. Then fuzzification, as I told you, see in the previous figure, this was the architecture. So this is the architecture of fuzzy process, कि fuzzy logic का process कैसे execute हो रहा है. तो पहले step में जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था कि fuzzification module execute होता है, मतलब, और उसके बाद defuzzification. So fuzzification module की बात करें तो फजिफिकेशन है क्या एक्चुअली? ये एक मॉड्यूल या कंपोनेंट है जो हमारे सिस्टम इनपुट्स को, दैट मीन्स हमारे जो इम्पार्शियल वैल्यूज हैं जिन्हें हम क्रिस्प नंबर भी बोलते हैं, उनको फजी स्टेप्स में कन्वर्ट कर रहा है. तो क्रिस्प नंबर्स आर दी दोज इनपुट्स व्हिच आर मेजर्ड बाय सेंसर्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, नाउअडेज वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट IoT. वेरियस प्रोजेक्ट्स आर बीइंग मेड इन IoT and there we take the input values from the sensors. Okay, so some sensors are there and they are mapping our data to the real world application. You can say cameras using IoT, sensor data. Okay, so this fuzzification or fuzzy logic can be used there. Crisp members are those inputs which are measured by the sensors and then fuzzification pass them into the control system for further processing. तो crisp members वो input values होंगी जो sensor से हमें मिलेंगे और उनका fuzzification करके हम further अपनी processing कर सकते हैं. अब input signals यहाँ पे हमारे component में कितने states में divide होते हैं, जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि 0 और 1 या फिर on और off state में use करूँगी, लेकिन fuzzy logic में उन्होंने हमें दिया है कि जो भी डेटा वैल्यूज पे मैं फजी लॉजिक लगा रही हूँ, ओवरऑल 5 स्टेट्स उनकी हो सकती हैं. फर्स्ट वन इज large positive, medium positive, small, medium negative and large negative. So if I talk about these states, so they have categorized my logic into these things. Then inference engine. This component is a main component in any fuzzy logic system. As I have already shown in the figure, inference engine is taking its input and from the rule base as well as from the crisp input. So this component is main component in any logic system because all the information is processed in the inference engine. कि inference engine में हमारी सारी processing होती है और उससे हम users को allow करते हैं matching degree find करने के लिए between current fuzzy input and rules. तो inference engine हमारा use होता है कि हम इनपुट वैल्यूज और रूल्स के बीच में कुछ रिलेशनशिप फाइंड आउट कर सकें और रिलेशनशिप फाइंड करने के बाद सिस्टम ये डिटरमाइन करता है कि कौन सा रूल आपको ऐड ऑन करना है अकॉर्डिंग टू द गिवन इनपुट फील्ड, कि गिवन इनपुट फील्ड के अकॉर्डिंग हमें कौन सा रूल यूज करना है. जब ये रूल्स फायर होते हैं देन दे आर कंबाइंड फॉर डेवलपिंग द कंट्रोल एक्शन. यू कैन सी द process they are explaining that this component is the main component in any fuzzy logic, और उसके बाद हम matching degree determine करने के लिए rules को fire करते हैं. This is all the theoretical portion. Then defuzzification is the module or component at the output end which will take the fuzzy set inputs and then it will transform them into a crisp value. It is the last step in the process of a fuzzy logic system. Crisp value basically a type of value होती है जो user आपका accept करता है. यानी कि fuzzy logic की अगर मैं बात करूं तो कोई भी fuzzy logic system होगा, जो भी वो input values लेगा उनको हम crisp logic ही मतलब crisp values ही बोलेंगे, right? So defuzzification means converting back the values. Then what are the advantages of using this fuzzy logic? What is the concept of fuzzy logic? I already told you that medium values can come. So moving further, we'll continue in the next slide.